Okay, so what is a new build and migration option? The alternative for doing the in-place upgrade. What does that involve?
Well, we've kind of teased it a little bit. I mean, it's just building out a new machine, setting up that new server, and then bringing over all your databases to that new server from the old one. But it gives you a way bigger testing gap where you can have that server up for months. I mean, you could have that server up for a year and just run tests on it until you're comfortable to bring it to that production stage.
Yep. And we've had some clients that we've worked with on this where we built out that new server. They tested against it. Well, we migrated the databases, of course. They tested against it, and within 2 or 3 days to a week, they were thumbs up, ready to go. And then we scheduled and did the live migration and moved the databases over again for that final move. There's others that we've worked with where, yeah, they find out some of their systems don't work quite right, and a couple, I mean, they've even taken over a year from when we've done that to when they were ready to start using that other server. We didn't have a lot of control over that because that was their internal systems that were kind of putting the block on that. But we were at least able to find out about those issues before going live. And they took that year to get things fixed rather than having everything broken at the time we went live with it, which was what would have happened with an in-place upgrade.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it too. Is I mean, if you do bring over those databases and you're starting your testing on it, you find, hey, this off the shelf product that I've been using doesn't work right, or it doesn't work as I expected on this new version. You can communicate with vendors, you can do in-house testing if it's an in-house product, and you can get that fixed before you even run out to that new version. So that's where you can't do that in the in place. And that's what we've kind of been talking about this whole time.
Yep. So a couple of other things that you need to be concerned with if you're doing a new build and a migration is that you're not just bringing over the databases to the new server. You need to also bring over the logins. And usually when we do that, we'll look at the list of logins, work with the clients and determine which ones we want to move and keep with the exact same passwords and access permissions, and determine which ones are obsolete or not needed anymore. In addition to logins, we want to bring over jobs and link servers and any other like database mail configuration, those kind of things, so that the new server will be configured to have whatever features were available on the old one that are needed going forward. That is an extra step there that is not, yeah, that's not the case if you're just doing an in-place upgrade. All right, so one of the things that with the new server build and migration is that it is way lower risk. And we always say it this way, that when we do the migration to a new server, once the databases are moved there, we're just going to shut down the old server. Well, if anything goes wrong in that upgrade process and we want to fall back, all we have to do is just turn on that old server and we're running the same as we were running before we started this upgrade. That's a really great rollback mechanism. And we've had to do it a few times where we ran into things where we found out the new server something wasn't quite right with the networking or the routing or something like that people weren't able to connect. So yeah, another pro is testing. I mean, like we talked about, test, 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 and that's really the only way to know for sure that your system's going to work on that new SQL Server, is to test against it. Also, I mean, when we're doing a new build out like this, the opportunity for hardware or OS or refresh going to the cloud, I mean, it's a lot easier this way. You can then decommission that old system, whatever it is, and move to a new server.
Yeah, with more and more individuals that are on the cloud, it's easier to just go with this build and migration because you can just build a parallel server and start out the build there. You don't have to do that in place migration on, or the in place upgrade on the cloud.
And the new build doing it this way is really my number one recommendation if you're doing major version from anything other than like a service pack or a cumulative update. So, okay, so some of the cons then. Why would you stay away from this?
Inherently, it's just cost. There's no way to get around it. It's going to cost more money because if you're spinning up a new server on the cloud, you are going to be incurring double the cost from what your first one was. And then the time consuming part of you have to set up that new server, and then you have to set up the new databases, bring over the jobs, set up the configuration, the logins. it there's no way to get around the time constraint that you are adding to it, but that time constraint, the more upfront cost saves with the lower risk at the end.
So it's a balance. And just to point out there again, if you're with our managed services, we don't cost any more either way we go there. It's just the time and the amount of testing, and then the cost of the server, the virtual machine while you're doing that as well. So, okay, so when to choose the new server build out and migration. Really, the key there is if you're working with a mission critical system, you have high availability needs, if you're working with infrastructure upgrades or larger complex setups. I mean, the key here is your data important to you? And if it is, this is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, one of the things to reduce downtime with this is doing things like log shipping, maybe not standard log shipping, but where we just do we do manual log shipping to get everything over there at the last minute to reduce downtime, like we talked about earlier. Making sure we script out all the logins and jobs. And that's one of those things that with Database Health Monitor, we've got some options in there to be able to help script out those logins so they can be migrated from one server to another. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.